now looking back, like, you know, you're in a space where you're bringing joy to people, you're bringing laughter to people, and little skits, whatever it is. It could be something that you were like, man, this was a no-brainer, because we take our culture for granted, but it is what it is. So have you had or have you seen what depression looks like? Because there's a flip side. There's a side of there's laughter and stuff, and then there's a person behind now, that phone that is like, I'm going through some shit right now. This made me feel good, but now I'm back to feeling like shit. So growing up in Guyana, do you feel like that's something that you can identify as a teen? Even looking back now, like, you know what? Now that I realize that I'm a happy person, because you're a happy person, in a happy space, do you feel looking back you could be like, yo, my cousin was blasted miserable, you know, this person must have been depressed, or this person was going through
mental
something.
health, let me tell you, mental health is taboo in Guyana. And the reason why I'm saying Guyana is because I haven't lived in another country. Right.
Yeah.
You know, so but people say, oh, well, in this country to in this country, I could speak for my people.
Right.
I know that in Guyana, like, I remember turning on the news, and there was an incident of a girl that I knew who committed suicide. She jumped off Kaichor Falls.
Jesus.
She was young. She was still in school. Like, I was still school age. I was in like fourth form maybe. And if you guys aren't familiar with form, that's high school. That's like your junior, sophomore year.
Yes.
You know, so she's still young. And come to find out, you know, she did this because, one, her grades were slipping, and two, she was also exploring her sexuality, and she had a girlfriend. She was scared to come out. So, you know, she didn't speak on it, and she, at that time, I guess, thought that was the best thing to do. There was another girl that I knew of that shot herself in the head.
Jesus.
Like, her parents were home, everybody was home, she came home, she seemed fine. An hour later, she shot herself in the head, you know, trigger warning. But also because of grades and not feeling like she could live up to this expectation. And also because Guyana is still a third world country. A lot of the Caribbean, they're still third world countries.
Definitely.
You know, so they look at it as education is your only way out, and work hard and make money if you stay here. So there's so much pressure.
Yes.
And these kids are folding. They are folding. Like, look at me. I was just telling my mom, I said, yo, I went to school for art. That's a bullshit major. Yeah, I said, yo, Joan. And for those of you who say, oh, that's rude, me and my mom have that relationship. If they have a relationship, right.
That
is me and my mother's relationship.
Mind your business.
If you mother dry does, yeah. But me mother ain't dry. So I said, yo, Joan, like, real talk. Not even trying to be funny in this moment, because she knows that she can't take me seriously for the most part.
I'm sure.
But I was like, you know, I am doing well talking shit.
Yes.
And doing makeup.
Yes.
The two things that my family said, it ain't gonna take you no way. And now I go to family events and, you want to put me on your TikTok? Put me on your Instagram and tag me? No, because remember when y'all say I couldn't do it? I do it. Makeup, you know, I have a lot of really nice projects coming up. I've worked with a lot of really good people.
Nice.
You know, so, and I've been put in a lot of the right rooms, thankfully.
Yes.
And I can speak on this now because I've already been put in those rooms. So I didn't want to block my blessings and speak about it prematurely. But, you know, a lot of great things have fell into my lap. And that was, again, because of my artistry, who I am.
Yes.
You know, I feel like people recognize that. And just off of that, they're like, I want to work with you. You know.
Cheers to that. Even though my rum punch is finished.
It's all right. It got more.
And my assistant is not here today. Zolani, where are you? For those who don't know, this is a whole family production. Let me just run it down real quick. My youngest child is my assistant. When I say assistant, in every sense of the word.
No, for real.
My oldest child is my editor. My husband is my producer. And I am behind the camera. And when I tell you, beside Raw, shout out to Raw, who's like our silent, and then I have my consultant and people behind the scenes, and I have people in the front of the scenes. Listen, it's a whole production. Y'all don't even understand that what goes on to bring this to you guys. But back to real quickly, Guyana. These young girls committing suicide.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, and this happens a lot, not even just in Guyana, in Trinidad, Gramazon, you grew up here and about, they drink Gramazon, and it's like, it just washes off. It's like, you know, water on a turtle back, it just washes off. Nobody really like sits and say, hold on, why is this happening and what can we do about it, right?
It's always go pray.
Oh, they're going through something. Everybody's going through something. So to Caribbean people, to Caribbean parents, I am not even first generation. I was born and raised and grew up in Trinidad. And my mother, now we can talk about mental health, because as we grew up in New York, she had no concept that she was anxious, and that shit passed on, and we grew up in an anxious environment to the point that I suffer with anxiety and depression. So, and I still work on it, but I was able to wean myself off of heavy medicine to the point that I can smoke a little weed. Shout out to all the weed smokers. Don't overdo it. Shout out to all the weed smokers. Take a little drink, listen to my music, meditate. It's like, it's you versus you at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's you versus you, and you have to find what's going to work for you. So Caribbean people, please, I encourage you.
Yeah.
Caribbean parents, whether you're old school, and I hate that term, we old school, we don't know about that. Learn about it, because you could save a grandchild.
And they say, we didn't have all them things and we did.
You have it now. You have it now.
This is a thing. We have to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, and it's been sitting there for generations. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and even like I was just telling my mom, we were talking about like my great grandmother and great aunts and like, you know, generations before my grandparents. And she was telling me about, I guess it's a great grand aunt that I had. And this lady, back when Guyana first became like colonized and stuff like that, her mother was brought from India on a ship. And, you know, now she was a little girl when that happened, and she's now being raised in Guyana at that time. And, you know, things are happening. And my mom was telling me, well, you know, Miss Newty, I believe that was the name that she said, Miss Newty, she used to ride horses with the British, and she had properties, she acquired properties that people used to rent. But the lady had a chemical imbalance. She was mentally unstable. Yeah. When her tenants didn't pay rent, she would take a zinc sheet off of the roof for every day they don't pay. Yeah. She was telling me that, like, oh, well, you know, when she would get stressed out, from what she recollects, this lady would take her cigarette and like burn people with it. And I'm like, that's not okay.
That's not okay. That's not okay.
That is not okay. That lady needs help. I mean, she's dead now, but like...
But a lot of behaviors growing up in Trinidad, even like as I grew up there to the age I could remember a lot. A lot of behaviors is not normal. A lot of things that people just turn a blind eye to is not normal. But I do appreciate the internet, because I know people are like, oh, the internet is so bad. It's really not. It's good. It's for what you use it for, what you need it for. Like resources, there's everything. And I feel like, and like what you do in TikToks, you're able to like exhibit and show culture. Yeah. And even people in Guyana who can't leave the country, who's never left the country, who may never leave the country, they can relate. Yeah,
and I think that's really beautiful too. A lot of my commenters, they're like, you know, sending love from, and they'll like put the village or like what area. And I'm like, wow, like this is where you guys are at? You watching me from Till over there? Yeah. Okay, like it makes me feel really good. Yeah. You know, that I can say things that, you know, people in Guyana can relate to, as well as people up here. Yes. And it's really nice. Yeah. And
they have access now.
I will say, shout out to my mom. Joan? The first person that I ever seen get mental help was my mother.
Good for her.
My mother, when I was like about 7 or 8 years old, my parents had like officially split at that time. And my mom went through very heavy depression. And, you know, at that age, I didn't know what that was. And also, I didn't come from a background that talks about those things. Correct. It's not express yourself.
So she recognized it herself that she was going through it?
She went for help. She used to take me on that bus with her to Jamaica Hospital, and she would go and get help.
Good for her.
And she would stay there for her sessions, and, you know, she would have her medication. And I was like, you know, wow, when I had my first son, I went through very bad postpartum depression. And granted, all the things I went through in that pregnancy, but thankfully, because I had already watched my mom do this for herself, it didn't make me feel scared or feel a way to get help for myself. And I went and I did that. And of course, you know, there were those couple of people that had something to say, like,
always,
oh, where you went? And you just need to pray. You went to the madhouse, so you just need to pray, and you're bored. And no, I went and I got help. And if I didn't get help, I don't know where I would have been. Yeah. So I had to realize that, I cannot do this all by myself. It really does take a village. But you need a supportive village. Everybody in your village has to be solid. And I'm thankful, T, that I can say that everybody that I've, you know, called a friend, a family, whatever, because not all family is your family.
That is true, too.
Some of y'all is just auntie so-and-so, daughter or son or whoever.
By relation.
But they're the people that I have. Look, girl, me too. I can get into that. Look,
that's a 5.
I got one cousin I call
trilogy.
I got one cousin I call her recap every event. Shout out to you, Asha, when you watch this. I call her after every single event, and I'm like, that we go to together, and I'm like, yo, you see so and so? Yo, did you see when things said this and that person said that? Like, did you see that? And did you hear that? And we like sit down and recap family events together, and it's nice to know that I'm not alone in things like that. You know, that was the only cousin that when I had my kids, both times she asked me. She was the only person that asked me, "What do you need? Not what do the kids need." You had a baby shower. Your kids are good.
Yeah.
What do you need?
That's what's up.
That was the cousin that bought me bras, underwear, everything.
Say the word right. It's not bras.
Brazier. The girl buy me Bobby hammock and tea, but no, I'm not. She ain't buy no tea box. She had to buy me big drawers. But she was the only person that did that. But you know,
no, it's.
I needed that.
Yeah, and it's so. It's such a relief to hear, like you say, your mom, like Joan. Shout out to Joan. That she recognized. What year you think that was when she was
that was like 2002,
2002.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was in like 6th grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in 2002. I don't know where I was. I think I was in Virginia, but still, I'm just thinking back like my mom in 2002, which she recognized she has a mental illness because she did. She has anxiety really bad. Still does to this day. But we as her children, because we know better now, we can teach her like, Mom, you got sit your ass down, chill.
You're doing too much, relax.
Yes, chill out, it's okay. And, but we can tell her that now. But shout out to your mom that she recognized that and she went for help. Because one thing about Caribbean people, they're so prideful.
Yo. There's some people right now that I know need help, but I can't tell them that because
they're so prideful.
They haven't got past that pride.
Listen, I have family that they will go down to the grave with pride and just... Yeah. It's either that they become a madman walking the street. Mm-hmm. They're okay with that. But one thing you're not going to tell them is they need help.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're never going to admit they need help.
Because how dare you? That's rude. Don't say you need help.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
I really need us as a people, Caribbean people, we have to let our guards down and just be okay with not being okay.
Yeah,
it's
and
okay
that is
not
okay.
to be okay.
That is okay.
Yes.
I live by that every day. It's so crazy you say that. If you ask my staff right now, what is the one thing that Nikki tells everybody at work? It's okay. Even if it's not okay right now, it's okay because what else can you do? It's okay.
Yes.
Let it go.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Next. Out of sight, out of mind. Next.
Yeah, we have to do better with recognizing that we're not okay. Yeah. We have to find the resources. And there are so many resources, guys. Just Google. Even if you don't want to Google, because I do feel like my daughter, for example, right? And we talk about mental health. So this is a transparent platform. She's going to go to the doctor next week. She was already diagnosed with ADHD. Mm. She started the medication. She lost her appetite. And she decided, I'm not taking this shit. And I'm like, well, I can't force her. Because I'm an advocate for do something that works for you. Yeah. But we had a very hard conversation a couple nights ago. And I said, listen to me. Whatever you're doing is not working. You're 17, you're going to be 18. It's going to be the same downward spiral. You're going to be forever turning in this hamster wheel. You're moving, but you're getting nowhere. You're scattered. You're all over the place. You're not getting anything done. It's all in your head. It's not coming out. Listen to me. Let's go to the doctor. You don't have to do the same type of medication that made you lose your appetite. But I'm an advocate for finding help. So she's going to the doctor on Tuesday at 8:30. And of course, it was a big fight. Like, no, tears, the whole big drama scene. No, I'm not going. I don't want to take the medicine.
You can't
forcing me. And I'm like, we better take this damn medicine or you're getting out my damn house. That's what the Caribbean parenting coming. But for real. So I appreciate that she understands she's been struggling. Yeah. She's a very intelligent girl, but she's so scattered and we bump heads all the time because of it, because I'm very organized and I have my shit together, but that's because I have this very extra anxiety. It's like
you have to have your ducks in a row.
Oh my god, extra performing over. I know the word. It's like whatever the performing, when you have overactive performing anxiety, something like that. So I'm always over with it. I'm extra with it. I'm like, oh my god, let me do this. No.
I get like that with deadlines.
Nobody needs to be like that. It's not cool. I live in my head. I exhaust my own self. It's not. So I shut down big time. When I shut down, I shut down.
That's me.
But I like the fact that she acknowledged that, yes, Mom,
that's big.
I do need some help. And could we just try different medicines and I tell her, I said, listen, you don't have to stay on medication. I want you to start there because you don't have the willpower yet.
Yeah.
You don't have the discipline yet. You don't have the strategy and like just the wherewithal, just what the skill set to know how to move past it. So for right now, you can start there. We can work our way down, and then you wean yourself off.
Yeah.
Because you're 17.
Absolutely.
I don't want you. The goal should be not to be medicated your whole life.
Right.
Yes, I'm saying. Let's start somewhere.
When I was in Guyana, I didn't even realize I was going through depression. I didn't even realize that I had stopped eating frequently. Ooh. And I had lost a lot of weight. And I was also doing dance. If you guys are familiar with Nitrigit in Guyana, for anybody that watches this in Guyana, I did Nitrigit dance for 3 years straight.
Okay, girl.
I performed at the cultural center. I traveled. Yeah, like dance was a big part of my life. I did a lot of Indian, African, chutney. I did all of that. I touched with like ballet a little bit. Not really my thing. I like things that are more upbeat. But I did dance for a huge part of my life as well. And I didn't even realize that I was losing the type of weight that I did. So to not eat and still be heavily dancing, I was thin. I was skinny. I looked sick. And I didn't realize that. And it's crazy because looking back now, my grandmother had started to put me on medication and she never told me. So I saw her like crushing up these little pills in my food one day, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And then she came clean, and she was like, "No, I got these pills from the pharmacy because I need to open up your appetite. You need to eat." And girl, when I tell you, I was eating everything inside. This lady would like make me take this pill every day.
Good
like
for
she
her.
would stand there and watch me, and like I had to show her under my tongue and stuff. Yeah.
Serious kind of prison break thing.
Yeah, she was like, you need to eat. Like, you're not eating, and that is concerning. Like, but even so, like, to realize now as an adult that my grandmother understood mental health to that degree, but she didn't know how to verbalize it. She just took action. I was like, wow, like, like, not with my consent. You just like drugged me.
It's okay.
But out of the goodness of her heart. Yeah. That's why I say that.
It's definitely something generational wise that I don't feel like the older generations embrace because it's like a sign of weakness.
It's taboo.
How are you going to be depressed and you believe in Jesus? Let me tell you something.
It's always praise. Some things are deeper than prayer, and that is okay.
God said help yourself.
God can't help you if you don't help yourself first.
Exactly.
Go and get help if you need it. Don't be scared to ask.
It's okay.
Even when I look at like a lot of like the young moms, like suicide is a very big thing in Guyana, as sad as it is to say. Domestic violence and suicide are two things that need to be addressed with urgency.
What do you think people could do to bring awareness or to even help those who, do they have like a hotline down there?
So as far as I know, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, there is no real like hotline. They're now starting to set up like therapist offices and like psychiatrists. In the hospitals they'll have like areas and stuff where they'll treat these things, but it's still on the uprise. It's just now, after decades and generations and centuries, it's just now being talked about.
Wow. Listen, for anybody watching this in Guyana, in any other part of the Caribbean, in any part of the world that feel like you are done with life and you just want the pain to stop, because it's pain.
Yeah.
I've been there, so I understand. You want the pain to stop? Please, I encourage you, find somebody to talk to. Even if you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, message Nikki. Hell, DM me, DM Nikki. We'll get on. We'll
FaceTime me, video call me, talk to me.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got tears coming out your eyes. Talk to me. I'll cry with
together.
you.
Yeah, man. Let's do this together because life is too short and it's too precious for us not to help each other and uplift each other, especially when we're down. Like everybody knows you when you're up.
Yeah.
But when you're down, where are those people? And I am so grateful to the people in my life. Like when I tell you, like, it's crazy. Like somebody messaged me today and there's like, Tennille, your note, Trinidad, y'all know. Anyway, your note on IG is always, you're grateful, because I am so grateful. Like, my life has come a long way, and I am grateful for the solid people that I have in my life who actually check in on me. The people behind the scenes who like, yo, I know you're doing your thing. I'm here for you. People who like shout out to my husband, because when I tell you, I had some very dark days, and this man has been there to open the blinds, bring me food in the bed, cover me back up when I was crying myself to like sleep and just depressed, and keeping the kids away so the kids don't know that I'm going through something. Let me tell you something. Everybody needs somebody. So if y'all don't got nobody, y'all got us. Reach out to Nikki.
And that's nice, though.
Reach out to me. We will be in air, because everybody needs to be heard.
That's nice. I will say, going back to what you said about your husband, sometimes you don't even need somebody to say something. It's the action that you're looking for.
Yeah, I just need...
It's not a verbal thing.
Yes.
Just do this.
I don't want to talk about it. And
I've been through that too. Like my husband, shout out to you, Marvin. My husband has been good with that. You know, he also comes from a background where he's Haitian. Like, you know, I'm Guyanese. We don't talk about mental health. We weren't raised with mental health. That's not a thing. Yes. That is, again, like I say, taboo.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for those days that I had, like you had, my very dark days where he was like, yo, like, get dressed. We're going to go to the spa. Or like, yo, I bought you, I love Haitian food. My favorite Haitian dish is lumbi and black rice, or Jean rice. Lumbi, if you guys do not know, it's conch.
They don't know, because I don't know.
It's conch. But the way they
make conch?
Love. But it's the way it's made.
Okay.
Extra pickles, and he knows this. And he'll be like, here, I got you lumbi. And I'm just like, I'm going through a shit day. And something that I'm doing now, when I'm going through things, I am no longer hiding it. People say, hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm not good.
I'm having a shitty day. Okay? I'm 110 today. So if I seem out of it, it's not you. It's just...
Yeah. We got to be honest. We got to be honest. We're too old. And I'm not saying we're old, because we're still young.
No. Yeah,
But we need to get to a space in life where people should just be who they are. If you're not feeling good, it's okay. And I am notorious for that. Like, my family knows. Oh, hey, okay, love you. Yeah. Give me a hug. I'm going upstairs.
Yeah.
I need some time to myself.
I get peopled out real fast. Fast.
Why pretend? Why pretend that you're okay if you're not? And this is where those people start suppressing feelings.
Yes.
And you suppress it, and you're putting on this face, and I'm good, but if I'm not freaking good, I'm not good.
I am good for leaving company downstairs.
It is.
I'm good for that.
People should understand
because the people in my house, also the company that I have at my house, like these are people that I trust, that they can spend a night. Like, I'm not just gonna have anybody at my house. Right. So if I leave my guests, like, they know what time it is with me. It's like my family, or like my friends that have been friends with me forever, or they just understand me. You know, not people that are going to be, feel weird where I have to be like, oh, let me walk you out. Hey, girl, I'm going upstairs. If you want to sleep, there's a blanket right there. Otherwise, just text me when you get home. Yeah. They know, and I love that about my circle. They know that about me, and they don't take it to offense. They don't take offense, Yeah. Everybody in my corner is very solid, and I love that.
That's good. You
know?
So... I know we talked about a lot of things, but I know you talked about, you had a rough 9 months with the pregnancy and everything. Mm-hmm. Where did you find that strength to just bounce back? And even if it wasn't a bounce back, even if it was just, I'm okay. You know what? Our house burnt down. I lost this other child. Mm-hmm. I lost my job. But you know what? I'm okay. Where did that come from? Is that faith? Was that something that was conditioning, or was that something like you just pulled from your inner self that you're like, Nikki, you got this?
I feel like it's a little bit of everything. Okay. Of course it is faith. Just like you, I am not super religious, but I am spiritual. I believe in God. Yes. I grew up going to a Roman Catholic church with my grandparents on Sundays.
Catholic, yeah.
My grandfather's side, he grew up Hindu. My dad's side is Hindu. My grandmother was raised Muslim. Her sister, she's a Jehovah's Witness.
Lord.
I'm all over the place. But I respect everybody's, religion. I respect your belief, and that's what it is for me. But I also, like I said, I grew up very spiritual. Yeah. I believe in a God. And I think for me, oftentimes, I would talk to God. I'm like, yo, why me? Why me? Why me? But now that I've been through it and I came out on top still, it was like...
Thank you.
I had to go through that. Without that, I couldn't appreciate what I currently have to its full extent. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So it's nice to look at it that way. And for me also, there was a lady, I would never forget this. I remember being about 8 months pregnant. I was just coming out the nail salon, and a lady stopped me. She said, excuse me. And I said, yeah. And she said, you look really beautiful, but I want you to know you are blessed, and every day above the ground is a good one. I have ran with that since. I don't even notice. I've never seen her again. lady, if you're watching this, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you for real what she looks like.
It's okay.
You know, but
that was a message.
That was a message. She stopped me. She said, every day above the ground is a good one. And I was like, wow. You know, even when you want to end it all, it's not your time. Your time will come when it is your time.
Agreed.
You know, so to those who are going through things, it's going to be okay. It could be a bad day. It could be a bad month, a bad year. It is not a bad life unless you allow it to be.
Yes, and find something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's something silly, like people like, you know, when you're starting to get in that depression, you know.
Yes.
And it's a downward spiral. It's momentum. It's like the law of attraction works in both ways, good and bad. Believe it or not.
Absolutely.
Because when you start getting sad, you're gonna get more sad.
Absolutely.
You get sadder. Then you're gonna be there, and before you know it, it's like every second, and then there you go in a rut. So find something that you enjoy. I don't care if you want to sit there and binge watch Netflix all day. I don't care if you want to go walk around the block. I don't care if you like biting your nails, picking your nose and eating it.
Do what you do. Look.
Something. Find something. Cook. If you got to cook the same meal because you only know how to cook one thing, macaroni and cheese out the box.
If you want to play soca in your bedroom and dance
do it
with no rhythm, do it.
Yes.
Do it. You know, like
Find
I'll
something.
catch my mom. My mom will sometimes, and I'm going to ear her out again. I'll catch my mom dancing in the kitchen. And the minute my mom also cannot dance, for reference. My mom can't dance.
Leave the woman alone.
She tells you, she's like, I'm not a dancer. I don't know how to dance. I don't have rhythm.
But she enjoys herself.
But she enjoys music. She loves music. And I'll see her sometimes. I look down the stairs and the kitchen is right at the bottom of my stairs. And I'll see her downstairs and she's doing a little something. And it may not be on beat. And I stand there and I watch and I'm like, look at her enjoying herself.
Yes. That's
and the minute she hear a foot come down the stairs, I said, no, you can still dance. It's okay. She's I wasn't dancing. Oh, okay.
Joan don't want you to pick up her dance moves, please. Don't be stealing
you know
no
what's
woman
so
dance
crazy
moves.
is her sister dances, loved dancing all her life. My aunt, Auntie Kim, danced her whole life. Her kids don't really dance. My mom doesn't dance, but then there's me. I dance.
My mom has a one dance. This is one step thing to decide. You know what, mommy, I'm gonna need you to learn some more moves because you in Trinidad. I love you to death. I'm just telling you. Even in her hypest moment, it's the same move. Just the hands move more. I'm like, I'm gonna need you to move a little more, but it's okay.
It's funny
we'll
too.
Get back.
On the way here, I was playing. I had my mom in the car, and I was playing Skeng. If you guys are familiar with Skeng and Skillabang and all of them boys, well, you know they're on the rise right now. So Skeng, he made a song called Vibes, and I'm playing Vibes, and that's my current favorite song.
Okay.
And I'm in the car, and I'm vibing out, and I turn to my mom, and I'm like, Mommy, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of this song? She said, this is not really my kind of music. I said, okay, but if you had to rate it, she said, I give you like a 7. He ain't do bad. He don't make bad music. I was like, oh, he don't make bad. You like the song, okay? And she very in.
It's funny you say that because some people had messaged in about some questions they had for you.
Oh,
and that was one of the ones. One of the ones was, what are your top Caribbean music? Give me your 5 top Caribbean artists.
Ooh. Any genre, just top 5.
Who is your 5? If you had to pick, gun to the head. If you had gun to the head right now, and somebody said, who is your top 5 artists of all times?
Number 1, voice.
Okay.
Voice. Something about that man singing. And
it's uplifting.
It's very uplifting. Yes. That man don't even got a curse in a song. But every song he makes is so uplifting. Even his songs where he talking about whining, the 1 and 2 songs he makes like that. It's so uplifting. I could listen to Voice all day, back to back. Number 2. Ooh, this is tough. Skeng. Okay. I would say right now, number 2 is like Skeng. Yeah. Number 3, I like Skillabang. I like 4, Vibes Cartel. I could listen to Vibes any day because that's also my era.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up on was Vibes Cartel. Number 5. Ooh, I like Kes. I'll put Kes at number 5.
So use Trini and Jamaican.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to your music.
Because look, Guyana's not a musical. We have people who make music. Like shout out Adrian Dutchin, Terry Gadraj, Vakadi Singh, Tony, because all of them, they doing good. But Guyana is just now starting to get musical.
Okay.
And of course through them and for years, they've been pioneering it. And now we have more people on the uprise. But for decades, it's been you guys, it's been Jamaica that have been really carrying us musically.
Well, real quickly, because I want people to understand too, because I get this a lot. I hear this a lot. Guyana is not part of the Caribbean. Yes, it is. Let's squash that right now.
Yeah.
Let's squash that. Because somebody was like, well, and you hear it because, there's always been like this feud and between Trinidad and Guyanese. I don't know why, it's whatever. But the whole thing, and then there's the chicken curry chicken. Who cares? The damn thing going in your belly, it's coming out your ass. Who cares?
Just make it good.
Just make it good.
That's it.
But there's always been this, oh, well, Guyana is not part of the Caribbean. Yes. So, quick history lessons, guys. Guyana, Belize, and Suriname is also part of CARICOM. CARICOM is a Caribbean community, which means that this is like how they govern and certain things like that. So Guyana is part of CARICOM, and believe it or not, the main office for CARICOM is in
Guyana.
So it's part of CARICOM because it has to do with like just history, culture-wise. We're very much alike.
And even with like our elections that just recently had happened, when we couldn't come to an agreement, they took that up past Guyana, they took it to the Caribbean Court of Justice. Why else would it go to the Caribbean Court of Justice if it wasn't Caribbean?
Correct.
So even when I went to school in Guyana, the history that we were taught was Caribbean history.
Yeah.
I mean, we were taught world history and things like that, but for the most part, we were taught Caribbean history.
Yeah.
We were held to the same we do CXC, we do common entrance just like everybody else. So we have the same schooling system.
So we don't want to hear nothing else about Guyana. It's not part of the Caribbean because they pun skunt.
Okay. Don't depon skunt. That's a bad thing to depon.
Yeah, and Raul has those shirts too, Cariblingo. So
bear skunt. Yeah, I'll see me wear it.
Yes, bear skunt. So let me ask you another question.
Oh.
Another one somebody asked. Who are your top 5 comedians and why?
Top 5 comedians. Oh, okay.
This will be a good one because you're a comedian yourself.
So, are we talking like
anybody?
Mainstream? Okay, so my number 1 all-time favorite comedian is Cat Williams.
Okay.
Cat Williams has this way of talking the truth, but still being so relatable about it.
Okay.
Like he's not too deadpan. He's not too political. It's the right amount of everything, for me at least. And you can agree to disagree, and that is okay.
That's okay.
Second is Wanda Sykes.
Okay.
I love Wanda Sykes.
She's so smart.
She's smart.
Very
she's
smart.
Funny. She is a lesbian married to a white French woman with 2 kids. That lady is funny.
Yeah.
I could watch all her stand-ups. Then if we go into more of like the Instagram side of things, Mel Vibes. I have been watching Mel Vibes for a long time.
I don't know who Mel Vibes is. I'm about to check it out.
So Mel Vibes, Mel.Vibes, VYBZ. He also makes music now too. But I have been watching a lot of his skits for a long time. Before I started making skits, he was already making skits.
Okay.
And he's Guyanese as well, from Brooklyn, I believe.
Okay,
and
definitely check him out.
that man is hilarious.
Okay.
That man is like, if you like my type of comedy and my type of humor, definitely check him out.
Okay.
Very similar realm. Diamond Natural. Love that lady. I can listen to her talk all day. And Nelly's so funny. I have to give a lot of credit to. I had the honor of linking up with her for her birthday out here. She's recently moved out here. So shout out to you, Nelly, for making that move. But I have to give props to her because she was also making content for like almost a decade now.
Oh, wow.
Before Instagram really popped as far as Instagram comedy, she was doing it. She was wearing like a Guyana flag around her, and she had these alter egos that she was playing in it. She really did an amazing job with that.
Okay.
So, and to this day, I still enjoy watching even her old skits. Because it's
check it out.
Just like me, she's very relatable.
Yeah.
So she's actually Jamaican and Guyanese, based out of the Bronx, first generation, but she gets it. So yeah, that's me right now. That's where I'm at. Oh, one more honorable mention.
That's 6, but go on.
6, but I gotta mention this one girl, Zahira. I think I'm saying her name right. She is on all platforms as I'm Zah, Z-A-H, but she is from Guyana, Burbage.
So all your comedian favorites is from Guyana?
Most of them, yeah. Yeah. And I think she captures more of like that Indo-Caribbean side of it. And it's really funny because I'm like, wow, I really have family that does stuff like this. Yeah. Because she also has that raw Burbician accent. And, just like any country, where you go, the accent is going to vary. It's going to vary. Because people will say to me, you don't sound Guyanese. oh, because I didn't talk broke-a-dong, and say I and Abby and cha, she and cha. I didn't grow up like that.
Yeah.
I was raised in town. I was raised in the city. So, and also with the way my family is raised, we weren't raised on that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's different. People will say, oh, you sound Bayesian, but Guyana and Barbados are very similar too.
Yeah. That is
Shout
true.
out to the Bayesians.
Yeah.
You know, Bagya Riri. If you're watching this, please sponsor this show a little bit. Send some panty.
We need some Fenty. We need some Fenty beauty.
I want some Savage X Fenty big draws if you got those.
Oh, Lord. She gonna tell nobody. She have baby number 2 ready to pop.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna tell. We gotta catch you in Barbados on the beach.
And say,
eating some flying fish.
Sail on the panties.
We gotta catch the oysters.
Yes.
You know, I love Barbados.
Barbados. BIM is nice.
Yes. Barbados
BIM is nice.
Yes.
And I feel like people sleep on them too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They
I love
definitely
Barbados.
sleep on Barbados.
I think out of all the islands I've been to, I enjoy Barbados and Grenada. I love Jamaica, don't get me wrong.
Grenada's on my bucket list.
Yes, I love Grenada. It's so peaceful. It's like...
And I have family there. That's the crazy... I have family there.
It's so peaceful. Just... You can literally sleep on the beach and get up and all your things belongings will still be next to you.
Isn't that nice?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's like
you
Guyana.
Can't do that in Trinidad.
In Guyana, we leave our doors open. We leave the doors open during the day. We do.
Oh,
not at night. Nighttime, no. No. But during the daytime, we would leave our, doors open. We can talk to each other.
Trinidad's nothing like that.
We're going to get
Tobago, they're not going to get there. Tobago is thank God for Tobago, but... I mean,
it's the yin and the yang.
Yeah, but jeez, it's a lot of yinging going on. You know what I mean? It's a lot of yinging, but...
But to piggyback off of Grenada real quick, I really enjoy... I know... I will say Trinidad sets the bar for carnival. But what I respect the most about Grenada is their jab.
Oh, yeah.
Jab history like and culture. When 2020 happened and George Floyd and all that, I saw somebody post, and this guy was from Grenada. I don't even know where this post is and who he was, but it just came up. And he said, for all my people who played jab, this is our time. This is why we did jab in the first place.
It's freedom.
It's for freedom. And people will look and say, oh, that's nasty, and oh, they cover... But what is the history behind it? So shout out to Grenada for still, even with the kids will still take part in this. They cover in the oil and, they marching and they chipping and they have their own customs and cultures. And that's really beautiful to see how embedded it is. That's really nice.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Grenada. They don't have the best of, you can't get no good roti, but hey.
So you gotta, I want to go to St. Lucia too. That's on my bucket list.
St. Lucia is expensive, but it's
expensive,
nice.
But I heard it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I did tell my husband, I said, you have to come with me. This can't be a solo trip or a girl should know. You got to come because, Mr. Haiti is not his same type of Creole, but you have to come and do your thing because I don't know what people are saying. So, yeah.
Let me ask you, if you could sit down with anybody who died already, if somebody could come back from the dead, from the grave, and you would have dinner with them or just a conversation, who would be your top 3 people you would pick?
Top 3.
That you're like, yo, I wonder what they was thinking. I wish I could have a conversation with this person.
Number 1, my grandfather.
Okay.
Shout out to him. He's probably here right now. Who knows? Probably somewhere else. Whatever. But I lived with my grandparents. They raised me. They grew up with me. And for a long time, my grandfather was my only father figure. But that man was such a solid person. Like, he was so, he was down to earth. He don't bother nobody. He's not in no mix-up. And the reason why Guyana is also, as a country, so personal to me, when I look at the stadium, when I look at the airport, when I look at a lot of things, the pipelines that runs through the grounds, my grandfather put those down. Wow. He either helped to put it down, renovate it, or establish it as a whole.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, my family did construction.
Okay.
So we had a lot of projects, a lot of government projects, and renovations on the airport was one of those. Helping to build the actual stadium before we had a stadium. My grandfather did that.
Blood, sweat, tears.
The pipelines in the interior with Madia and all those interior mountainous regions. He did all of that.
So every time you touch down, you'd be like,
I touch down, it's personal to me. This is personal.
Yeah.
So if that would be my number 1. To this day, that's still the number 1. And don't get me wrong for this. I tell my mother all the time, I'm like, yo, I love my grandmother, but my grandfather, man, something about that man. That, he was the standard.
Yeah.
He ain't cheat. He gave her all the money. He was like, yo, go shopping on Saturdays. This lady had her hair done religiously. So now that he's gone, 13 years now.
She's still maintaining it.
She's still maintaining it, but I'm like, this is the bar that your husband set. That's nice.
Especially in those days.
That is nice.
Especially in those days,
Yeah. You know, he didn't have a bunch of kids outside of her. No,
well, good for him.
We have no and you know, as far as I know, we have none of that. We don't have no outside children.
When you blow up, you never know somebody.
Hey, I'm your aunt. I don't have no other auntie. I got one auntie named Kim. My mother have a brother and a sister, and that's it. Okay, that's it. But so after my grandfather, this is. I want to know what happened to Sonny. I just find out Sonny man dead. You know.
Oh my God!
I didn't know that.
I didn't.
I was on live yesterday, and I was playing. I was playing Lotte La, and I was like, "Oh, Sonny man is a great artist." And then I said, "I wonder if this man's still alive." So here I am on my other phone. I'm trying to Google it.
Oh no!
And I happened to just look at the comments, and somebody said, "Oh, he died," and I'm like,
"When?
Mr. Lotte La died?
What year did he die?"
I have no idea, but that bothered me. I was like, why did nobody talk about this?
Yeah.
Why did nobody talk? That man paved the way, like, to this day.
Chutney, come on now.
Lotte La and Everybody Dancing, you hear those two songs.
Yes.
You lose dignity. Like, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
That will get everybody to the dance. It don't matter what your age is. And I don't know. That last person, that's a tough one.
I know, it's some tough.
Who would you rise from the dead?
Girl?
Who would you sit down with?
Who would I sit down with? That's a good question. I never even had an answer for it. If I had one person, I don't know. That's a good one. Because there's so many different questions in life. So you don't know if you want to sit with an artist, you want to sit down with, family member. I'm like, a lot of my family didn't really pass. The only person who passed was my great-grandmother.
Okay.
I think I will sit down with her. Reason being because she's always been somebody who worked. She kind of paved the way and set the standard for us as women in the family.
Gotcha.
Like, she grew up in an orphanage. Her sisters, they all, were all workers. And they knew how to keep things close to the chest.
Yeah.
So nobody in the family, no dark secrets. Nobody knew the, trauma they've been through. Yeah. You will never know. As my grandmother loses her memory and, like, she goes back in her subconscious and then all these crazy stories are coming out. So I think I will sit with my great-grandmother, Mommy Jean, to kind of ask her where she got that strength from, because she always held it down. Like, I remember we was in New York and she used to pay our rent and she used to help us out when my mom we just got to this country. We was illegal, had no papers. My mother had no jobs. My mother looking 2-3 jobs under the table. Listen, I think I would sit with her because she was also working like menial jobs and caregiving jobs, taking care of other people and those type of jobs we will never do. And she kind of just always set the standard, like, no matter what is going on and no matter how hard it is, just buckle down, like dig in and just get it done. And that's what she said. So, like, she passed that on to my grandmother. My grandma passed it on to my mom, and it, like, kind of just passes down. So, like, I know we don't give enough, like, credit to, like, the ones who left us, but it's generations of strength that kept passing on. And I want to pass it on to my kids. And that ethic and that work ethic and that, like, shut the fuck up and just do it.
So it's so funny you say that, because one day me and my grandmother had got into it, like, when I was living with her in my teens. We got into it real bad. And she said to me, "You just like Chucky, And Chucky, for reference, is my grandfather. It's his Chucky mother. She talking about? So that's his mother, my great-grandmother. So it's my grandmother's mother-in-law. And I didn't really know of her. Like, she passed away when I was, like, really, really little. So I don't really have memories with her per se. But every time I've ever heard about Chucky, it's always this, like, she's a strong woman and she don't take shit. And she's very, like, ruction, as we say back home. She's like, she's like that. And when my grandmother said that, I was like, well, good, because you need that. I don't know who told me to say that. I got licks right after that. Then I thought about it, and now in my adult life, I asked my mom more and more about her grandmother, and I'm like, tell me about her. And the things that I hear, I hear a lot of crazy shit, of course. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, Lizzie, not only was she strong, but she was also mentally unstable at some point in her years. But I was like, okay. But when my grandmother said that, I was like, wow. Now that I'm asking questions, I'm like, oh, this was a strong lady. Okay, there's a bottom one. Yeah. I come from a long line of bottom.
Yeah, man. Shout out to that. I'm telling you, because sometimes when we look for heroes, we're looking for people outside of the bloodline. And sometimes we filter as our heroes are just
right there.
Like they're right there. And, you know, I'm glad you asked me that question. So thank you, because she didn't have an answer. So
I didn't have an answer.
It's okay. Cause
I guess I would bring back, that would be my number 3. I bring back my great-grandmother.
Yeah. I mean,
I bring her back.
I definitely would sit down and talk. Yeah. There's so much that we don't know. And I think a lot of like even shame and guilt and regret from those generations, it just ends there.
Yeah.
They don't pass it down and be like, listen, you know, when I was 15, I did X, Y, Z. I'm that type of parent. I tell my kids the dumb shit that I've done. I tell my kids the struggles I've had. I don't hide anything from my kids because I feel like at some point in their life, they're going to need that as a tool for something. And I feel like if we could go back and generation could just talk and just let us know the struggle, maybe things would be a little different. Maybe we would have to find the struggle ourselves. We would be like, we're ready for it. It's like armor, you know. It's like you're going into battle.
Yeah.
Give me everything I need. Like tell me what I'm about to get into. I tell my kids
all the time, and even though like they're 7 and 4, I tell my kids, I am not perfect. I do not have all the answers. I make mistakes just like you. I am wrong sometimes just like you, and that is okay.
Yeah.
Do not look to me for all the answers. I'm learning too.
Yeah.
I learn every single day.
We all do. That's what life is about. We're supposed to learn and grow and evolve and keep growing. And that's what we're supposed to do.
Bitch! We were damn lucky to get away at all.